So, mate, I've only caught 2 cod over a metre. My best one is 104, so there's definitely room for improvement, and I'm really keen to have a look at this active target stuff that you're doing. When you spot one on the screen, what sort of lures are you throwing at them?
Well, that's like such a, I guess, an open-ended question. You know, it's you can go big, you can go really big, and then you can go ridiculously big, or you can then sort of tame it back a bit to more subtle, more natural. This is probably a more consistent thing to throw. Just a jointed swim bait, jointed glide bait, fairly light, you know, easy for average person to cast, and more natural bait, more natural size.
Yep.
Then you have silly big.
That's bigger than most of the fish I catch.
So that's nearly 300 mil. And obviously lures like that require tackle that is capable of handling, you know, like the Calcutta Monster MD has casting brakes capable of throwing big heavy baits, hence why that is on that thing.
And then what, you follow up with something else?
Yeah, so then you get onto sort of more natural stuff, you know, so this is essentially what people just call a swim jig, just a 7-inch plastic on a jig head and a bit of skirt. You can even run just a standard jig head rigged plastic.
All right, mate. Well, I brought my 7'10" Anarchy heavy bait caster with 300 tranks on it. Is that going to be a good outfit?
Yep. So, majority of stuff for me is, like you say, a 7'10". You want a rod that can, because even though we're not casting a lot, like what we used to do, you're still casting heavy baits or medium to heavy baits, and it's about the hook set too. So a longer rod, you don't have to move as much to set the hook. So I like to run anywhere from, like high 7s into low 8s for a rod. Reels, 300 size, 400 size, perfect. The reason for the 300 or 400 is, I guess, casting breaks as well for the bigger baits, but also when you do a big cast with heavy braid, you don't want your spool to be reduced so much.
Right, because that's going to change your retrieve rate.
Yeah, it messes everything up. So at the start of the retrieve, you're really panicking like this. And then when you get closer, then you got to remember to back off. So running a 300 to 400 size is perfect for that. 50-pound braid is a basic thing as well for me, same as you.
I've got 40 on there actually, 40 Power Pro, so there's something in that too. And that's mostly about, I'd imagine, not casting the lures off and things like that.
100%. That's the majority of it. Or if you do get a snag, being able to hopefully straighten a hook or get something back. Leaders, the same, 50 to 60-pound leader. Cod, as big as they are, not notorious for fighting, so it's not really what we're doing it for.
Sure. Now, mate, this is a big, big dam. Where do we start looking? When I'm blind fishing in this kind of water, I tend to look for structure, I look for points, I look for rocks, I look for weed beds, things like that. Is that the sort of places you're fishing when you're live looking at them?
Basically, like, I guess it's the same, like you have to start somewhere, you know? So when you come to a place, for me, it's like you say, you're not looking, people talk structure, rocks, timber, whatever. Structure for me is like what you just said. It's a point, it's a bay, it's a river. So I will start in bays, then I'll move to points, and then I might move up river arms or any little feeder creek. And I guess first day, it's going to be hit and miss because we have to find bait. So essentially, the goal is to find the bait because then you find the cod. And it's like what you would have looked for in the past. In the morning, you want to see all this bait popping and some cool stuff happening. Then you're expecting to see a cod. And if we do find a cod, you're expecting to find an active cod.
And when you find them on the screen, are they swimming along with their bellies nearly touching the bottom, or where are they in the water column?
I think that also depends on the bait. So I've noticed there's sort of a couple of different types of fish. Some are really hugging the bottom, but they seem to be in less than 4 meters.
Right.
And then once you go past 4 to out to 8, they seem to like to suspend.
With these big swim jigs, when you throw it in front of, or to bring it across the fish or whatever, how are you actually working it? Are you lifting and dropping it, or what are you doing?
Well, I mean, essentially any normal fishing, it's like you trigger a response. You pause, you scratch your face, you're on, all that sort of stuff. But with live, historically, you notice they hate any change. If you get a fish to focus on that bait, as soon as you change something, he's done.
Right.
So whatever you needed to do to get his first interest. So if he's deep, typically it's slow and very slow. But if he's shallow, it's often fast. And even just backing off, because they like to feed, the bigger the bait, they like to eat it head first. I guess because if it's a real fish, it's got spines, it's got all this stuff that's facing the wrong way. So they like to be under it and facing forward. And so if you drop your bait, then it's messing up the way they wanted to eat. and it seems to spook them away. So, right, well, let's go and try and find you. What's the PB we need?
104 we need to beat.
Easy.
I hate it when he says that. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, Stephen.
Very good, mate.
Oh, we did it. I can't believe we did it, to be honest. Just so big, look how thick it is.
When he's ready, you send him.